Good morning, everyone. Welcome. Here we are, last pre-market prep session of holiday shortened week, brought to you by Kaizen. If you're not, the early bird registration for that ends today. So make sure that you are signed up at I'mBetterDaily.com for that beautiful, nice little chunk of 25% off. The best investment you're going to make this year when it comes to making sure that you remain um, a force in the economic system, right? In the age of AI, that's where we're at with things, and we're not ones to roll over, not ones to give up, not ones to give into, that little voice in the back of your head. Oh, you're old, you're outdated, you're useless, you're stuck, you've got nowhere to go. I've always got somewhere to go. As long as I've got breath in my lungs, I've got somewhere to go. I've got something I can achieve, and I have the tools and means to achieve it. Every single problem that you are facing right now, the tools are already present in the earth for you to solve that problem. All you have to do is expose yourself to them. And that's what this event is about, exposing you to the possibilities, the tools, the means to do what you might have no idea you have the ability to do, right? You might have no idea. And then once you figure it out, boom, fulfillment comes, happiness comes, right? Drive comes. But a lot of people are sitting here like, I don't know if there's anything in this world for me because you haven't looked around enough to figure out what could be for you. It's like a ballerina who grows up somewhere where you doing dancing is common. And then finally you see that, you're like, wow, that's my thing. That's my thing. So for everybody in the world who's sitting here like, what is my thing? What is my thing? You just haven't discovered it yet. But if you haven't discovered it, you got to get into different environments that put you in that place to discover new things. So that's what that event is about. And it's about getting 1% better, just like we are here each and every day for these pre-market prep sessions. So today, this Friday is the day we've been waiting on. Again, for Kaizen, that's I'mBetterDaily.com. You see it on the shirt, constant improvement, not about being invincible, about being unstoppable. Speaking of unstoppable, we've got the market at a very, very important pivotal point right now, trying to hold on for dear life. We had PCE inflation data this morning. So a lot of this week was going to hinge on today, right? That's something I talked about way back on Tuesday. And it's something that's held true, right? It's important to have the correct expectations going into a week. We had the right expectations. We had a lot of chop, right? We got a lot of down, a lot of up, a lot of this, a lot of that, not a lot of volume, back to back to back, low volume days, which means you can't really count on a lot of conviction from the moves that you see. So that was correct. That's another important reason to tune in here so that you can manage your expectations and see how you'll attack the week. And Friday was going to be the big day, right? Friday is the big day, and that day has come. So we'll see what the market has for us today and how we end up closing and putting some fireworks on this holiday shortened week. Now let's get into the news we have going on, because during our sessions every single morning for the free ski, for the free ball, free debate, we go over the important news, analysis, trade ideas, ways of thinking, ways of approaching markets that will allow you to remain consistently profitable, win more often than you lose, and also just make good decisions as a father, son, aunt, uncle, teacher, employee, etc. Right? That's really what this is about. It's not about, oh yeah, this is a trading community. No, it's much more than that. Right? This is a community of people that are binding together in order to make sure that they stay ahead of the curve in all aspects, so that you're not buying an investment property at the peak of the investment bubble, right? And of course, we've got all the world emergencies occurring while I am on live stream. There we go. There we go. There we go. All right, get out of here. There we go. But yeah, staying on top of what's going on in the world. It's important. You don't want to be that person who says, "Oh, you can make 500 grand a year. You can make, 1.5 million. You can make 10 million, 15 million and still be cash poor." Right? You can make all of this money and still struggle and live paycheck to paycheck. Like a lot of people say, oh, if I just made six figures, most six-figure earners right now are living paycheck to paycheck. Most. Not even like, oh, a good majority. No, most. Most of them are, right? So it doesn't matter what you're bringing in. It matters what you do with what you bring in and also what decisions you make. Because the decisions that people made coming into 2023 and 2024 are drastically affecting their 2023 and 2024, right? Oh, I'm gonna just get this car because right now everything is good, and then up layoffs, right? And then up like downsizing. Actually, we're gonna right. So it's important also, even if you're not a trader, just to be here to soak in this information, because how we process information accounts for the changes that are going on in the world, right? And it doesn't say, oh, if everything stays the same, we'll be good. No, this is about you being up to date so that you can make the right decisions at the right time and not screw yourself and say, wow, I make, $200,000 a year, $300,000 a year, and I'm sitting here trying to figure out how I can make ends meet by the end of each month, which a lot of people are doing. There's no reason to be under those circumstances, right? Right decision, right time. You do that getting the right information and knowledge base, and that's what we curate here during these sessions. So our top news, as you could probably guess, right? The Orange Man, Mr. DJT, number 45. Former President Donald Trump has been found guilty on all 34 charges of falsifying business records in a hush money trial, just as the 2024 campaign cycle kicks into high gear. A sentencing hearing is scheduled for July 11th, only days before the Republican National Convention, but don't expect any time behind bars. At 77 years old, Trump is a first-time offender and has been convicted of a nonviolent crime. While the appeals process is sure to take many months or even years to play out and won't be resolved before the election. And that's the big thing, right? Everybody's like, oh, get him, right? This is America. The way that the legal system is set up, the way that the political system is set up, stuff can stay tied up forever. And this essentially doesn't affect him at all, right? When it comes to, if he can go and win the election, which at this point, if I had to put money on it, I'd say he does. Not because I like him. You might say, Adam, why would you say that? That's just where it is, right? It's literally my job to watch how things play out, how sentiment is moving, take in data points, and then give an educated guess on where things are going. And based off of that, right, and just the history of politics, that's how I see it going. But he can literally do that and then pardon himself, and he's fine. So yeah, good old judicial system in America. It'll be a while, I think, before anything comes of this substantive, other than just like maybe fines. And even then, I don't know if I have to pay him if they appeal. So, quote, this was a disgrace. This was a rigged trial by a conflicted judge who was corrupt, Trump declared following the decision. Quote, we will fight for our Constitution. This is long from over. The real verdict is going to be November 5th by the people. They know what happened and everyone knows what happened here. Yeah, man, you paid a woman hush money for, doing some, bad no outside of your marriage. Like we know what it is. We know what's up. And you can't do that. So we do know what happened here. Is it something that I feel like you should get jail time for? Me personally, no, but I don't make the laws, so it's not my job, right? That's not my job at all. Um, but yeah, in terms of like it being a disgrace and you know what happened, like we do know what happened. It's very well documented. So it's just the beginning of several cases that Trump has coming down the pipeline. Separate lawsuits in Georgia and Washington relate to conspiracies to overturn the 2020 election, while another in Florida surrounds mishandling classified documents. But 2 out of 3 are federal charges that could be shut down if he enters office. Trump also recently staved off a $464 million civil fraud judgment in a corporate case in New York after an appellate court agreed to a smaller $175 million bond while the ruling is appealed. Wall Street and some prominent CEOs are now weighing in on the hush money trial, but many of the voices are likely to back Trump in the general election. Yeah, I mean, guys, I don't think anything's going to come of this, right? I don't think it'll stop him from running. I don't think it'll stop him from winning. If anything, it will just re-energize his base. Um, Everybody loves, I mean, nowadays it's like the new hit drug is playing the victim. So if anyone, nothing gets people energized and galvanized like being able to play the victim, right? Right now, with all these attacks, he's able to play the victim, right? And I'm not saying I support one or the other. I think there's positive things and negative things about both Donald Trump and Joe Biden. And people might gasp and say, how could you say that, Adam? Because it's true. There's never really wholly anything 100% negative about any person in existence, right? It's just they might have more negative than positive. But yeah, when it comes to this, like people love feeling victimized. They love having an excuse. They love feeling pacified. And yeah, when you have that ability to say, I'm being attacked from all over, and it's not just me being attacked, you're being attacked. It helps that narrative. right? It helps that narrative and it helps fuel it. I mean, they had to I think his donation site crashed because he was getting so many donations when the ruling came out. So again, it's like Trump and Kanye and all the rest of them. More clout is always better. Doesn't matter what it's for. Like, it's always better. It always serves to help me sell more things, help me raise more money, help me stay in people's mouths. Social currency is the most equitable thing you could have right now. Like, it holds the most weight. If you're on people's lips and people are talking about you, you've got value always, and that immediately translates into money. So I honestly think that all these suits and him being in court and all that only serves to further fundraise for him in a way that's free, right? It's like, yeah, attack me, right? Nail me to the proverbial cross, right? Make me a martyr, and he doesn't have to pay for it, right? I don't have to pay for it. You go ahead and you slander me, and I'll raise money along the way. Of course, he has to pay legal counsel, but it's probably less than what it is to run a campaign, and this is essentially running his campaign for him. So tracking movement, broader market volatility stemming from the verdict is likely to be overstated, but one stock linked to the fortunes of Trump is on the move. Down heavily following the jury decision, Trump Media and Technology Group, ticker DJT, which owns the social media platform Truth Social, has pared losses to 3% in pre-market trading, near $50 a share. I find it surprising that they're down. Like, I'm not going to go out and trade DJT, but I would assume the DJT would probably recover from this. I feel like typically it doesn't matter what the news is. If it's Trump related, they move. Sometimes they end up being a sell the news event. So maybe it was because the news finally broke. It broke down. That has happened before, where it's like Donald Trump related news. The build up to it, there's a run, and then when it happens, there's a crash. But yeah, I see this as only bringing more hype around it and more people to Truth Social, right? More people galvanizing around him. So I think this is a great thing for Truth Social. If I'm sitting there and I'm the head of the company, or head of operations, I'm like, good, right? This brings a lot of people galvanized to our side, and calls forth the soldiers. I think it's good that he doesn't go to jail also, because even if he should, him going to jail, I think, might cause civil war right now, and I don't think anybody wants that. I mean, just him not winning the election literally caused a terrorist attack and a march on the Capitol. So, do I want him to go to jail? No, because I don't want us to have civil war. Inflation news, PCE preview. Moving on to inflation. Inflation will take the spotlight this morning as markets prepare for personal consumption expenditure price data before the bell. Expectations signal slow progress in the Fed's inflation fight, with core PCE expected to have risen 2.8% in April, the same level as the prior 3 months. The data comes a day after the Q1 GDP growth estimate was revised downward to reflect lower consumer spending. Seeking Alpha Investing Group leader Mott Capital Management believes the PCE report will likely set the course of monetary policy for the next 6 to 9 months, as the Fed wants a few months of favorable data. And quote, at this rate, that doesn't appear to be coming anytime soon. Markets liked whatever data came out at 8:30 a.m. because we immediately got a nice little ripper up. And yeah, it appears that PCE data came in, along whatever our expectations were. Let's see if I can track that down. Okay. 1.6%. Of course, we got more sirens. U.S. core PCE price index, 2.8% versus 2.8 previous. Okay, so it looks like it was right in line with what was expected. PCE, yep, directly in line with what was expected. Core PCE was better than expected. So, Fed swap steady after data, see at least one rate cut in 2024. Yeah. So Fed swaps pretty much the same, looking like we're going to get at least one cut. But the PCE data all came in either at expectations, and then core was slightly less than expected. So that's good. Good, bullish news, and we'll see if that's enough to hold us over this 524.61 area on SPY here. which is what we need to hold in order to, hold that weekly bull flag breakout, and then, really pushing it that rocket over the course of the next few weeks, and over the course of the summer. So good, like not great, but good PCE data in that it wasn't worse than expected, and in some places better than expected, especially core, because people love talking about the core PCE. Aviation quality control. Boeing has submitted a plan to improve the safety of its products. Was it written in crayon? With CEO Dave Calhoun meeting with FAA Chief Michael Whitaker in Washington, D.C. The agency has capped Boeing's output of the 737 MAX to address safety issues, which has negatively affected Boeing's cash flow, a key metric followed by investors to evaluate the company's ability to increase earnings and pay down debt. Whitaker said the restrictions won't be lifted until Boeing shows a strong and unwavering commitment to quality and safety that endures over time, and pledged to put more safety inspectors in the plane makers' facilities. I don't want your safety inspectors, though. Like, we've already proven that your safety inspectors cannot do their job. So please, can we get someone else's safety inspectors in there? Can we get Airbus to lend, right? Lease out some safety inspectors? Energy news wise, production cuts, oil prices will be in focus this weekend as the market looks to Sunday's OPEC Plus meeting, where the cartel will decide whether to extend output cuts beyond Q2. OPEC Plus is working on a complex deal that will allow the group to extend some or all of its deep production cuts into 2025, and some of the voluntary cuts into Q3 or Q4 of 2024. Meanwhile, crude futures fell again Thursday as a bullish draw in U.S. crude stocks was offset by surprise builds in gasoline and diesel inventories, adding to concerns about fuel demand as the summer driving season gets underway. So if I had to guess, OPEC Plus is probably going to do something to combat this. I think they'll look to extend these output cuts, maybe even increase the output cuts, because we are strategically building up our reserves, which hurts gas prices. So OPEC is going to want to produce less so that us, putting it into the reserve won't continue to hurt prices, and us just, adding to our stockpiles. So today's markets in Asia: Japan up 1.1%, Hong Kong up 0.8, China down 0.2, India up 0.1. London, we're up 0.4%, Paris flat, Frankfurt down 0.1, the Dow down 0.2, S&P down 0.3. All this has changed since the data dropped also, so not super important really for me to even point that out in terms of where we are Dow and S&P then, because that has changed. Now, let's see here. Today's economic calendar, we already got the PCE data. That's the biggest thing. We got PMI, Chicago PMI at 945. Those are one of those things where shortly after market open, we see a little bloop, bloop, right? Some volatility blips there short term. What else is happening? I wonder what it says. Maybe it's a typo. It says production cuts. Somebody messed up well, it's a fun little thing. Everybody's human. Maybe somebody went out last night for Thirsty Thursday. They got a typo in the newsletter. What else is happening? We got our stock markets, rapid fire news rundown to close us out. NVIDIA earns over 10% of revenue from mystery customers. Smells like China. Dell Technologies, ticker DELL, drops after margin guidance disappoints. Google, ticker GOOG. It's important for Dell to watch where Dell opens today, because Dell has been ripping and running, have had a nice number of weekly breakouts. And if Dell can hold, right, if we're retracing right to a weekly breakout area and Dell can hold that area, a nice spot to buy the dip on Dell. So that's something that we can investigate. Google partners with Magic Leap to explore opportunities. Tesla, ticker TSLA, pushes for full self-driving software approval in China. Gap, ticker GPS, rallies as company raises guidance after reviving brand. Good for Gap. Department stunner, Kohl's slides on surprise loss and guidance cut. It's really a surprise. Best Buy, ticker BBY, improves profitability despite declining sales. Good for them. Aramco, ARMCO confirmed sale that could raise more than $13 billion. Skydance Media Sweden's offer for Paramount, and then Apple plans major Siri AI update for more control over apps. That's where it's at. That's where it's always going to be at. It's going to be AI till the end of time at this point. So make sure you know where you're at. Make sure you're locked in. Make sure you understand how to utilize these tools and cement your place moving forward in society. That's the biggest thing. This is going to be, again, just like the internet, just like everything else, the majority of jobs now, you've got to be aware of the internet, how it functions, and use it in order to do your job. It's going to be the same thing when it comes to these AI tools. Like the way that you get things done, the way that I get things done now is fundamentally changed, right? I've been able to save a crap ton of money, a crap ton of time using these tools because you're aware of workarounds, right? Even just little things like, consulting that we're getting done. We do a lot of work, in Holland with helping businesses on the consulting side and scaling and stuff like that. And even things like just, evaluating your executive team and all that, when you look at stuff like the disc assessment, I'm like, hold up, I have my disc assessment. I have ChatGPT 4.0. At this point, you can also save on what you charge companies for different expenses in terms of like, oh, if you need to get your whole executive team reorganized, right, and that hierarchy changed, and you need to get that reshuffled. And I say, hey, I could get you guys to pay whatever it is, $50 per employee to get this assessment done. It's one of a few that we have them get done, in order to just figure out strengths and weaknesses and arrange people in the right places, et cetera, et cetera. It's like, instead of doing that, I have one that I've already done. Once I get their results from the free test, I just use my previous in-depth analysis results as a reference point for ChatGPT. I'm like, hey, here are my previous results. And given, the results they got from the free test, give me an in-depth analysis using this as a reference point. Boom. Now I save, if that's for 12 people, right? 12 times $50, that's $600 that you would have had to pay. And that they agreed to pay, but that lets them know, oh, wow, they are actually working already proactively on my side to help save us money, right? Not only make us more money, but save us money when they're executing their services. That's huge, right? That's huge. That's a big thing. Imagine if you're sitting in a meeting and your boss is like, "Oh, we got to get all this done according to what this consultant tells us," and then you go, "Actually, boss, we can do this and we can save that money." Your boss is like, "Wow, that's one person I don't want to fire." Right? This is how you provide more value. This is how you make sure that you can't be replaced, by being that person that's like, hey, actually, I can do this. Right? Actually, I can do this, and it can take 10 minutes. Oh, we need to get a landing page made in a funnel. Actually, boss, during the meeting, I made our landing page just now. Right? Whatever specifics you want to add, and you can change, you can do that. And they're like, wow, how did you do that? Suddenly you look like Superman. You're not Superman. All you did was put yourself in the environment to learn more. So make sure you do that, because early bird registration price is going away after today. Right? Do that. Tell your friends, tell your mom, tell your uncle. Make sure that they're locked and loaded, ready for the future, because the future's now. Speaking of now, have a great Friday. Have a great and safe weekend. I'll see you back here on Monday for our next pre-market prep session. Have a good one.